They were brothers in battle until politics and power divided them. Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines were two of the most iconic leaders in the Haitian Revolution. Together, they broke the chains of the most brutal slave colony in history. Together, they defeated the French, outmaneuvered the Spanish, and pushed back the British. But while their swords moved in sync, their minds did not. Beneath the battlefield unity, there were cracks, ideological divides, personality conflicts, and political ambitions that would eventually force them onto separate paths. One envisioned compromise and diplomacy. The other believed only fire could purify, and history would remember both as heroes, but only one would live to see Haiti free. To understand why these men clashed, you have to understand what made them different at the core. Toussaint Louverture was older, more educated, more strategic. Born enslaved in the early 1740s, he was freed in his 30s and became a plantation manager. He was deeply Catholic, fluent in French, Creole, and some Latin. He read Enlightenment philosophy, he studied military texts, and when the revolution began in 1791, he joined it not as a brute, but as a thinker. He believed freedom wasn't just about rebellion, it was about structure, order, and winning respect on the world stage. Dessalines, on the other hand, was forged in fire. Younger, darker-skinned, and born into slavery, he endured the raw violence of the system. He didn't manage plantations, he labored on them. His body bore the scars of whips, chains, and torture. Where Toussaint was refined, Dessalines was ruthless. He didn't trust diplomacy, he didn't trust France, and he certainly didn't trust white men who promised freedom with one hand while hiding shackles in the other. To Dessalines, liberation wasn't a negotiation, it was a war of survival. In the early years of the revolution, their differences were masked by a shared mission. Toussaint rose quickly as a commander, earning respect for his ability to win battles while playing European powers against each other. Dessalines became his right hand, loyal, brutal, and effective. Together, they fought to abolish slavery and drive out the colonial powers that saw Saint-Domingue as a plantation, not a people. But cracks began to show once victory started to seem possible. Toussaint, ever the strategist, believed the future of the colony lay in remaining connected to France. He didn't trust full independence. He thought Haiti could be a semi-autonomous colony with freedom for its black citizens, but still under French authority. In 1801, he even wrote a constitution that abolished slavery, declared himself governor for life, and still acknowledged France as the mother country. To Dessalines, this was betrayal. He had fought, bled, and watched thousands die so that no one, French or otherwise, could ever rule Haiti again. Toussaint's constitution didn't just keep ties to France, it also banned Vodou, the spiritual force that had ignited the revolution at Bois-Cayman. To many of the formerly enslaved, Vodou wasn't just religion, it was resistance. Toussaint saw it as a superstition that would damage Haiti's global image. Dessalines saw its erasure as an insult to their ancestors. And there was more. Toussaint kept the plantation system intact after slavery ended. Workers were now technically free, but they were still forced to labor on plantations under military discipline. Toussaint argued this was necessary to rebuild the economy. Dessalines understood the logic, but hated the optics. It looked like slavery in disguise. He began questioning if Toussaint's vision truly represented the freedom they had fought for. In 1802, everything changed. Napoleon Bonaparte, furious that Toussaint had written a constitution without French approval, sent 20,000 troops to Saint-Domingue. His mission was clear: crush the revolution, restore slavery, and reassert French control. Toussaint, still believing in the possibility of peace, attempted negotiation. Dessalines, seeing history repeat itself, prepared for war. And this is where the clash became irreversible. Toussaint, in an attempt to maintain order, hesitated. He gave in to certain French demands, believing that diplomacy could save the gains of the revolution. He even agreed to lay down arms temporarily. But the French betrayed him. They invited him to a meeting under false pretenses, captured him, and deported him to France, where he died in a freezing prison in 1803. Dessalines never forgot, and he never forgave. With Toussaint gone, Dessalines took full control of the revolutionary forces, and unlike his former commander, he had no illusions about France's intentions. He waged total war-scorched earth, no compromise. He and his generals crushed the French army at the Battle of Vertières. By January 1st, 1804, Haiti was free. Not semi-autonomous, not a colony. Free. But Toussaint's ghost still haunted the nation. Dessalines declared himself emperor. He rewrote the constitution. He renamed the colony Haiti, restoring its original indigenous name. He ensured that all citizens were legally black, regardless of skin tone, as a rejection of the color hierarchies imposed by colonialism. Where Toussaint sought respectability in the eyes of Europe, Dessalines sought defiance. And while many celebrated this, others saw it as a dangerous swing toward authoritarianism. Historians have long debated the nature of their conflict. Some say it was ideological independence versus autonomy. Others say it was personal jealousy, ambition, and wounded pride. But the truth is, Toussaint and Dessalines represented two necessary forces within the revolution. Toussaint was the bridge between worlds, an enslaved man who spoke the language of philosophers, who tried to mold black freedom in the shape of European respectability. He sought a seat at the table. Dessalines was the fire and enslaved man who wanted to burn the table down and build a new one from the ashes. He didn't want permission. He wanted liberation. In a world that had never seen a successful slave uprising, both approaches were radical. Both were necessary, and both left scars. Their clash teaches us that revolutions aren't neat. They aren't harmonious. Even the most legendary freedom fighters can disagree, sometimes violently, on what freedom truly means. Toussaint and Dessalines fought for the same people, but dreamed different futures. One died in a foreign prison. The other died by the hands of his own people. But without either of them, Haiti would not exist. So the next time someone tells you history is black and white, remember Haiti. Remember Toussaint's brilliance. Remember Dessalines' fire. And remember that the road to freedom is always paved with conflict, even between brothers. If this story helped you understand the revolution in a new light, hit that like button so more people hear the truths history tried to hide. Subscribe to the channel for more raw, real, and revolutionary stories from Haiti's past. And drop a comment with both deserve honor if you believe Toussaint and Dessalines each played a role that couldn't be replaced. Tomorrow we shift focus. In Day 12, we uncover a side of the revolution that's often left in the shadows: the women, the healers, the warriors, the spies. From Cécile Fatiman to the mothers who carried messages and medicine through war zones, they weren't just supporting the fight, they were part of it. Don't miss the hidden role of women in Haiti's revolution, because no revolution is complete without its women.